Hey everyone, Mr. Umer here. I'm going to show you how to set some performance options in your Samsung Note 10 Plus phone. That's what I'm using right now. You'll notice on the screen here, you can see my phone screen has been shared through the Windows 10 phone app. So that's a pretty convenient way where you can access your app and you can mirror your phone screen. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go into the Android search. I'm going to simulate what I do on the phone, and we're going to type in one of the performance options. So one of those options I like to use on my phone to help balance between the power and the performance is the power app or power mode. Now this is a Samsung app. When I pull it up, you'll notice that you have some options here. It's not too confusing. You got high performance, optimize, medium power saving, and maximum power saving. So if you want to go all out so that the CPU and the display runs really nice and really snappy when you open up your launcher apps, you can click on the high performance. And you notice here you're given some options here. Brightness, no increase. You might have auto brightness already set, so it's optimized for when you're outside in the sunlight or whether you're indoors and it may be darker. One of the biggest things that impacts performance is the phone's resolution. So you notice if you hit this little drop down button here, you're presented with HD high definition, FHD full high definition, and WQHD wide quad high definition. So what this really means is these three options give you the ability to switch the resolution. Now on the Samsung phones, it kind of has a odd resolution, but the two main ones I use are Full HD and Wide Quad HD. Basically, Full HD, that's kind of like a 1080p you'd see on your TV at home, and the WQHD is the 1440p. Now, some will say, well, if you look at the difference between 1080p and 1440p on a desktop, then you see that by increasing and adding more pixels, the clarity, the crispness of what's being shown looks a lot better. However, on a phone screen, it's so small, given this Samsung is a pretty large phone screen amongst all the other phones. But depending on how you toggle between those two, it's going to impact how much battery is being used. So I like to use the WQHD, so I have that check. Once you select that, you hit apply, and then the Power Mode app will go ahead and start optimizing. You'll see things like CPU speed, it'll throttle up and down. Now the CPU speed, that's basically the clock speed, and that impacts how fast your applications load up when you open them up. So basically a higher clock speed will usually yield a quicker response. A lower clock speed will yield a lower response, a slower response, but it will save battery. And we can't walk around all day with a battery charger or the plug into the wall. So you're probably mostly going to have this in battery mode. So depending on what you choose, there's going to be a balance between what's optimal for how long you want your phone to run and how good or how well you want the screen to look. So if I go back here again to power mode, do a little search here, power mode. You'll notice that, well, maybe I want to tweak some of the settings a little bit more. When we clicked on the high performance, you only had options to select between the resolutions. But if I click this, medium power saving mode, it's a little more granular. Now I can choose to turn off the always display. That's basically different from your regular display. It's the display on the Samsung or on Android phones where it allows you to display the clock. So it has limited graphics, but you can tweak that in here. You can also tweak how much of the CPU speed you want to change. If I uncheck that, it looks like it won't limit it, but if I check it, it's going to throw it down to 70%. So I'm going to keep that on there. Brightness, keep it at -10. I'm going to keep this at 1440p because most screens can't display that, even though it's very minute. You might see it when you play a YouTube video or you load a website. The font will look smaller and the graphics might look a little bit more crisp. So I'm going to go ahead and hit apply there. One thing you'll notice that throughout the day, you may notice that your battery going up and down. So that's going to be dependent on what you choose for your power mode. Another option that I like to choose to optimize the performance of running apps or your display is GPU acceleration. Now inside your phone, there's a central processing unit, a CPU, and a GPU, graphical processing unit. Now CPUs and GPUs, they're tasked with doing different things. CPU are tasked with doing calculations like math. So some apps may go to your CPU to do certain tasks, and those tasks will perform in a certain way. Now the GPU deals with graphics. So when you optimize the graphics, that can make your phone or your apps look a lot snappier. So one thing you can do if you haven't done already is do a little search on the internet and enable what's called developer options. There's a way to do it on Android where you tap somewhere and it enables these options. But I've enabled it here already. When I launch it here, let's go ahead and open that up, developer options. Then you have the ability to change other settings. It's almost like a master tweaking software. So one of the items that affects performance is GPU acceleration. So I'm going to scroll down here until I see the items that have to do with GPU acceleration. Now you may have a long list. It really depends on your phone's manufacturer. If I scroll down, you even have dark mode there. You have layers. You can even simulate that you have an iPhone. I don't know why you'd want to do that with a cutout, because Androids are better than iPhones, right? But here it is. Here's a setting that deals with a GPU acceleration. Now it kind of is misleading. It says disable hardware overlays, but really that's what's going to turn on GPU acceleration. That's going to make it a lot snappier. And you can always toggle it on and off and compare, well, here's my phone launching apps and here's the graphics when using the regular CPU. That's with the slider off. Now when you turn the slider on, it's going to use your GPU to try to accelerate that. So if I slap that on there, hit back, close that out. See if I can get back to my desktop here. It's a little different using the phone screen that's displayed on your Windows 10 app. But what I can do is I can speed it up by going to my actual phone, which I have in my hand, and then magically I'm on my desktop. So you'll notice when I launch apps, they'll still load depending on your Wi-Fi, but the graphics, how things scroll, or like when I launch something here, it may look a little bit more snappier. As far as the other setting we did for the power mode, you might see it when you launch a YouTube video. I won't do it here, but you can always test it out on your own. So I hope these tips have been helpful, and I'll be posting some other videos. So go ahead and hit the subscribe button and like button. And if there's content you'd like to see or questions, then go ahead and post it in the channel. Thank you.